Hey everybody, Jochen Heiden here. I am back, and we have the December 8th combat replay from Lodrik. In his email, he told me this was a very long and active turn. His words exactly. So hopefully that means it was exciting and some good stuff happened. I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to do it live, and you can get my reaction as I watch it with you. So let's get it going. All right, we're in. Let's see what happens here. So already captured a base right off the bat just by being in proximity to it. We have another amphibious landing at Mersing. It appears he's bringing even more stuff in than what he initially started with, so that's great. We'll fast forward. Oh, I don't need to. So a lot of AKLs here, small ships, and one of them took a shell hit from our coastal defense, so that's good. And a continuance of the amphibious landing at Batangas at the Philippines. We take a decent amount of casualties there. Continuing to land at Iba. And San Fernando. This is stuff that he had already initiated yesterday, but I guess he's got more stuff to bring ashore. Wow, what's going on over here? Oh, great. Well, I guess those destroyers from 4C couldn't quite get out of there. I was hoping they could egress the area before his ships would catch up to him, but it appears that it's not going to work out in my favor. This is a shame. I had ordered them to leave the area at full speed, and I was hoping they would be able to get out of here before they got engaged, but I don't see them holding up very well against two Congo class battleships. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through this so we can just kind of find out what the damage is going to be. Not good. Okay. So we get one shell hit on his Akatsuki, but we lose the Vampire. Two shell hits. So I'm assuming those got hit by those are shell hits from the Congo class battleships, because I don't think two destroyer guns are going to do that. But we lose that ship. Oh, here we go. This is what I was hoping for. So this is that surface task force that we saw in the Makassar Strait. So I ordered my light cruiser and these 5 destroyers that were in the area to engage this force. I was hoping they wouldn't have quite as many ships, but you know, we're gonna go for them anyway, because I just don't want these guys going unchallenged here. So let's see how this works out. I suspect this is not going to go too well for us because he's got some relatively modern destroyers in his fleet, and I've got nothing but what appears to be Clemson or Wicks class destroyers in mine, which are decidedly World War One vintage, whereas his are kind of mid-war, going into World War Two vintage. I'll be interested to see how the Marblehead stacks up against his light cruiser. I'm not sure if that's a Sendai or like a Nagara. I'm not entirely sure. Right off the bat, it does not appear to be going too well for us. So the other thing that's not in our favor is that this is a night engagement, and his forces typically do better in night engagements than mine do, at least early in the war, because we don't have the benefit of our radar. All right, looks like the range is opening up, so I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through this now and see what happens. All right, so his ships get out of there completely unscathed. I have 2 destroyers take hits, one of which is on fire, but I don't lose anything outright, so I'm going to consider that a win, especially if it if it causes his surface task force to egress. And looks like we're re-engaging the same task force. Let's fast forward here because we already know how that's going to go. Does not appear to be going well again. All right, so this time we do a little better off. We get a couple hits into his Nagara. Yukikaze and Suzukaze takes a hit. Marblehead takes 2, and the Parrot appears to be having the same hit as before. Overall, not the worst ever, especially if it drives him out of here. Oh, oh, check that out. One of our Dutch subs off the coast of Sok Trang appears to have caught up to one of his AKs, and that's awesome. So we got 2 torpedo hits, and it's on fire. Let's listen carefully to the sound. See if we hear a sinking. I hear a sinking. Okay, let's go for round 3 with this surface combat in the Makassar Strait and the Celibacy because 2 rounds was not enough. Let's get through it. Wow, that's active. It does not appear that we're doing very well here. All right, we got another hit into his Nagara, but a lot of my ships take way more hits than his, so we can't seem to break contact here. So what we're seeing now is a bunch of ships merging from the other fleets that I ordered to do stuff all over the map. Oh, we're having some of our ships that are leaving Manila Harbor starting to sink, which we kind of expected these things to happen here. So it appears that we've already lost 3 to 4 ships just leaving Manila Bay. But again, I expected that to happen, so I would rather them sink out at sea than just be killed in the harbor for nothing. You know, it's better to take a chance than not. Okay, some more landing at Mersing. And Batangas, we can fast forward through this because we already know what's going on there. Same thing at Iba. And San Fernando again. Oh my goodness. That's okay. Well, we're down 1 ship. That's not a good sign. Or 2. We had 5 destroyers when we started this before. Maybe the task force is split. But we once again we still can't seem to break contact with this task force that he's got. So let's fast forward through this and see what comes of it. We appear to be taking a lot more hits here again. Yikes. That was a mess. All right, so we get some more hits in Nagara. His Yukikaze and Kawakaze are on fire, but we lose the Paul Jones. I would suspect that the Stewart's going down. The Bulmer's probably going to go down, and the Marblehead's probably going to be okay. All right, so... Ooh. Oh, darn it. So I've moved a lot of Dutch subs over to the Morzing area to try to hit the ships that he's got in the area there. So our Dutch ships... A Dutch sub takes a shot at some destroyers but misses, but gets away, which is great. All right, let's get another one. Nope, not quite. We can definitely see quite a bit of Japanese shipping activity right down here off the coast of Sok Trang and Saigon. So it definitely want me to keep my submarines in that area. And that's one of his subs sitting off the coast of Palembang. So that's good to know he's already got some subs down there because I've got a lot of shipping coming in and out of there. So I may want to try to get some sort of ASW effort going on at this exit point from Palembang because that's going to be an issue. All right, that's the I-123. That's one of his subs in the Sulu Sea, and he's probably interdicting some of my shipping leaving Manila, heading down towards Tarakan and Balikpapan. Okay, so it appears that my troop ship President Madison encountered quite a bit of his unescorted um, cargo ships leaving Manila, but they broke contact, which is good. And that's not good. That's another one of my ships trying to get into or leaving Palembang, and we just took a torpedo from his sub sitting out there. So these are my Catalinas. Those are my Catalinas out there in Philippines spotting his stuff. These are Donier 24s, probably coming out of Linga or Sinkawang, spotting some of his ships out at sea. All right, this is a sweep. I don't expect these P-26s to do very well here. This is surprising because I don't recall putting the P-26s onto cap. I may have messed up an order here. So we lose 3. He loses nothing. Now this is what I expect. I expect him to be sweeping fields that aren't going to have aircraft moving up to engage. Because I told my aircraft not to do that. Okay, get some China bombing here. Light casualties, no big deal. So these troops that he's bombing here in China are actually retreating anyway, so I'm not overly concerned about that. Hitting Pakoi. Minor. Some minor casualties. This is a road junction I'm trying to hold so I can pull my forces out of southeastern China. So apparently I've got some bombers doing stuff that I didn't. Oh no, I take it back. I did have some of my bombers going into hit Aichain because I'm trying to take it back. Fortunately for me, all he's got is a Nate here. And I'm not overly concerned about that. So let's see what these bombers can get done. And nothing. A few casualties. Not hardly worth the time, right? Oh, check this out. Remember how I was telling you guys in my last video that I was going to be sending a lot of aircraft on exciting missions? Well, here's the beginning of it. I've got my PBYs on naval attack, and apparently they found something good here. Nice. Look at that. We're getting quite a few torpedoes into this ship here. Wow, we sunk one. We sunk 2. That's awesome. Okay, so I had torpedo-armed PBYs out of the Philippines, and they found 2 of his cargo ships and sank them, which is awesome. You know, it's just a little a token gesture, but enough that he knows that I'm not messing around here. So that's great. I'm happy with that result. Oh, I got more. I basically put all of my PBYs on naval attack missions. And look at that. More hits. That is awesome. He wasn't expecting that. I guarantee it. We lose one PBY to flak. Perfectly acceptable. Another hit. And another ship. Another hit. Oh, man, this is good. I had no idea the PBYs were so good at naval attack. Two more ships sunk. Oh, look at that. And it only cost us one aircraft lost. That is awesome. Hey, take notes, guys. Use your Catalinas for naval attack because apparently they're really, really good at it. I had no idea that we'd be able to take so many ships out like that. Got the Seagulls. They're also doing the same kind of thing. Got a bomb into one of his ships. Oh, man. Awesome. So our Seagulls hit his landing forces at Batangas. We get one bomb and a fire on the Hasuna Maru with no losses. Check this out. P-40s on naval attack. So this was my big plan for all of my ships in the Philippines. I did not want them going up and trying to do battle with his aircraft in the sky because we're just outclassed. So I put all of my fighters, I put just about every aircraft that I had in the Philippines on a low-level naval attack. And this is the result that we're getting right now. This is incredible. This is way more effective than I expected. Well, he can have the Philippines, but he's going to pay for it. Look at all these hits. Let's just skip to the end and see what happens here. Oh my goodness. That is insane. 1, 2, 3 ships sunk outright. Another one with bomb hit. Other two with bomb hits and on fire. I had no idea that the P-40E was that effective. I guess I didn't look at the aircraft data. Apparently, at a short-range naval attack, it can pack a 500-pound bomb. So, that was pretty awesome. I did not know that. Well, like I said, he can have the Philippines, but he's going to pay for it. So, pretty awesome. These are aircraft coming out of... These are aircraft that are coming out of Singapore. I ordered them all for naval attack. And apparently, he's got no fighters. I don't know where the fighters are at, but I've... Look at this. Man, this is exciting. They're completely undefended. Where are his fighters at? Where did he move his aircraft to? We're having a field day out here. Look at that. My wildebeest, these crappy little biplanes, were able to get in here completely unprotected. I mean, unimpeded. We take out 2 of his ships with no losses. That is insane. And we got more coming in. Unchallenged. More torpedo hits. Man, we sink another ship. That is incredible. We lose nothing doing this. I'm really shocked. I did not expect to have this kind of result on day 2 like this. I thought he would just be wiping the floor with his cap aircraft that we saw on December 7th, but they don't appear to be in the area today. I don't know where they're at. And we have another naval attack, unchallenged, hitting ships at Kuantan. That's the Haruna. Oh, man. Okay, we're losing some now. Darn it. So, make a note of that. We have the Haruna and the Congo sighted off Kuantan. So, now we know where at least 2 of his Congo-class battleships are at. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do anything with that. But the fact remains that all of these naval attacks that I'm launching out of Singapore today have not been intercepted. I don't know where his cap is at, but this is very interesting. All right, here's a raid that I've launched from Cagayan. and I'm doing a port strike on Babel Dawab. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So apparently we're able to sink a patrol boat that he had in the harbor there at Babel Dawab, and we were completely unmolested doing so. That's really cool. All right, here's another raid with whatever B-17s I have left. I'm launching them from Clark Field, and we are hitting ships at Sama. And apparently he's got a lot of ships just sitting in there. Check this out. We're hitting stuff. Wow, we're getting hits. We're getting big hits, man. Dude, we're getting massive hits. Where is this fighter cover at? Look at this. 2 patrol boats heavily damaged. An AK heavily damaged. Okay, so 3 patrol boats and 4 patrol boats, 2 AKs sitting in Sama with no fighter cover. And now we have more P-40s on raids. I think the only thing these guys are going to be able to do is strafing. I'm not certain that the P-40Bs can pack bombs, but they can strafe. So we get some damage into this Yamafuku Maru. I'm not entirely sure if it's just from this raid or if this is pre-existing damage from when the P-40s came in there and wrecked face. So pretty cool. Wow, I am really excited. I was not expecting a day like this. I mean, I thought we'd do good, but not like that. I guess I didn't realize that the P-40s can do those kind of strikes. We lose a tanker leaving Manila, but again, I kind of expected to lose quite a few ships leaving because I did not want to leave anything in port that just sink for nothing. Okay, we got a raid hitting to the northwest of Canton. I'm pulling these forces back because this is an untenable spot. Let me take a fair amount of casualties here. More of the same. Uh-oh, better watch out. Catalinas are back, and they're angry. Let's see what we can end up with doing here. Nothing. Oh, darn it. That's okay. The Catalinas did great earlier. And these guys are attacking with bombs, and I'm not entirely sure why. I thought I had set them to use torpedoes, but yeah, that's fine. These might have been ones that are on like a naval search or something, but still. At least he knows that we're not messing around here. Uh-oh. The wildebeests are back, and they're mad again. Yep, they're really mad. I'm pretty sure that, yep. So we take out another AKL. No losses. His fighter cover is nowhere to be seen. Making another attempt on the Haruna. And unfortunately, we don't get in there and we take a loss, but that's okay. Well, I guess we're going now for round 2 with the P-40s. Let's see how this goes. Oh, jeez. Is this real? Is this a thing? Wow. Okay, well, apparently, guys, don't use your P-40s for anything in the air. Use them for ship attacks, because they're very good at it. I had no idea. Jeez, look at this. I'm sorry if I sound really excited. I just had no idea that the P-40s would be this effective with naval strikes. I almost feels like I almost feel feel dirty. Like feel bad. Is this? Am I cheating? What is this? I had no idea that this was going to be like this. I thought we might strafe some stuff and do some damage. I didn't realize that the P40 would pack a 500-pound bomb on this type of mission. So I did it intentionally set the range for this attack at the normal range, not the extended range, with the hopes that whatever the P40s were carrying would be the normal loadout, not the reduced loadout. And apparently the normal loadout is a 500-pound bomb. And we do heavy damage to his invasion fleets. And these are the P40Bs that I have, which don't appear to be able to take bombs, but they can strafe. So let's see if the strafes can do any kind of damage to any ships here. Doesn't appear to. More P40s coming in. Better watch out. This is going to be wild. Ah, more hits. Look at this. Wow. That ship is done for. That ship is finished. Jeez. Let's just skip ahead here. Oh my god. 13 bomb hits. That thing never had a chance. Oh. That's not good. That's not good at all. So we have carrier aircraft down here in the Celebes Sea. I was not planning on that. That's very, very concerning. So these are ships that I had fleeing Mindanao. And apparently he's got at least a light carrier, if not more, operating in the Celebes Sea. I did not know that that was going to be a thing. So we just lost both those ships that I had tried to move out of Mindanao. And now I know I need to hurry the heck up and get ships out of here faster than what I thought, because he's got a carrier operating in this area, which I was not expecting. Yikes. Oh, man. I did not. I thought he had them all over, either fully committed in Malaya or over at Pearl Harbor, not both. But apparently he's got them split up in at least 3 distinct task forces with carrier type aircraft. All right, we just lost another ship that sank on the way out of, and we lose that ship going into, this ship's going down. Yep, you hear it sinking. Man, this is a wild turn. I was not expecting all this action. Okay, so we appear to be done with the air attacks and the naval engagements for this turn. Thank goodness, I've had enough. That was a lot. All right, so this is his attack at Kwanton, which I fully expect to succeed because he's coming in here pretty heavy. So he's got a tank unit, a lot of anti-aircraft units, right? A couple of infantry units, and a lot of airfield base force type things, air support. So it looks like his intention is to come in here and set up a airfield at Kwanton pretty early on here. So we're going to fast forward through this because we already know how this is going to go. Well, I don't even need to fast forward it. So we do inflict some casualties on him, but nowhere near what he does to us. So this is going to be an issue because he has a tank unit in this thing, and they may rush to try to cut us off. I want to try to escape to Temalo and rail down here to Singapore with these remaining units, but again, what's going down here in Mersing is going to really dictate how all that happens. And here's our attack at San Fernando, which I'm sure will succeed because he's coming in here with a lot of heavy units. Oh, oh, we hold. So we held at San Fernando. That's awesome. So his adjusted assault and my adjusted defense weren't that big of a spread. Okay, well that buys us some time. So we held at San Fernando. This is Iba. Not sure how this is going to go. It goes well. It goes very well. So we hold and inflict more casualties at Iba than he inflicted on us. This is really, really good news. He's not coming in here very heavy. I thought he would land with heavier forces here than that. These are kind of piecemeal. I'm curious to see how Batangas and Merzing go, but I'm not too impressed right now. This looks like it might succeed. Yeah. Okay, well, can't win them all, I guess. We have one unit completely destroyed and one retreating into Manila, and my intent is to continue that heading into Clark Field, and we'll reconstitute there. So, all right, that can't win them all. Okay, so this is the most important battle on the map, in my opinion, right now, because depending on how quickly he can execute something here at Merzing is going to completely dictate how my retreat from Malaya to Singapore is going to go. So I don't expect to win this battle here, but, you know, I am definitely concerned about what's going to happen next once this falls. Yeah, and he takes it. He takes 225 casualties. We take 977, which is expected when you have a unit retreating. But, boy, it would have been great if we could have held out at least a day or two at Merzing. Kota Baru, not overly concerned about what happens here. If we hold out, great. If not, it's not something that I'm overly concerned about. And we hold, which is good. That buys us a little bit of time, because Kota Baru's got a pretty decent airfield on it. So if we're able to hold off here a bit, it just slows down his ability to transfer aircraft into Malaya. So we do take more losses than he does, but we hold for a day, and I'll be happy with that. All right, so now we're going to have a bunch of stuff with fortifications increasing. I'm just going to kind of speed through this because we'll be here all day watching fortifications build up. Man, what an exciting day. Who knew that P-40s were so good at naval attack, and PBYs for that matter? I feel like he lost at least 10 ships this turn. And I bet you he wasn't expecting that. So I'll be really excited to look at the intelligence report when I get the turn back from him, and we'll take a look at what exactly everybody lost. So at this point, I got a bunch of units coming in, and I have a bunch of units that are transferring back and forth. So a lot of what you're seeing here are units that I have directed to transfer, and some of these are also new units. So we can discuss some of these things when I get the next turn back from Lodrik. We'll take stock of what exactly has transferred, what has come in that's new, and we'll take a look at the intelligence report to look at exactly what it was that was lost here. I will tell you this, though. I feel really happy with what happened in the Philippines today, because we lost so many ships in that darn port with this port strikes that I don't feel too guilty about what we did to him. I'm sure he wasn't expecting that. And to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting it either. So this is pretty cool. All right. Well, that's the end of the combat replay. Well, guys, I'm back. Lodrik got me the turn shortly after I watched the combat replay. So now we can look over the intel report. I'm not going to go into too much depth right now on what's going on. I just want to show you some of the the exciting stuff. So we'll get right into the intelligence report. So we'll start with aircraft losses. For this turn, we lost a lot of the P-26s, and the reason for that was, for whatever reason, some of them were airborne when he sent down a fighter sweep. We lost some in the air, and these ops losses are actually aircraft that were lost on the ground. They were stuck and damaged at Batangas, and when he took that base, they got lost. So I lost 12 of those P-26s, but only 4 of them were in the air. The other 4 were because they were damaged on the ground. I lost 3 swordfish attacking the Congo class battleships. I think these were almost basically lost to flak and an ops loss. We lost a couple of Catalinas, but definitely worthwhile trade considering what we got out of them today. So one was sort of flak and one was an ops loss. Definitely worth it. Looks like we lost one P-40, but again, definitely worth it given how much damage we inflicted with them on that last turn. So if I only lost 1 aircraft for all that, fair trade. And then some random losses here and there. A Hudson was lost air to air. I don't exactly recall when that happened. Maybe in China. And then this L-18 was lost to ops. So overall, not too bad for losses today. What's surprising to me is the absolute lack of losses from the Japanese side. I don't know what his planes were doing today. We didn't see a whole lot of activity from them. Definitely his medium bombers did not make much of an appearance anywhere today in the Philippines, in Malaya, anywhere else. So I was really scratching my head about that. Also noticed that he had some fighter cap that was noticeably missing from Malaya and the Philippines today, which really hurt him. And the only real surprising thing that we saw were the Kates that were in the Celebes Sea down there south of the Philippines. He's got at least 1 or 2 carriers operating down there, so that's going to be a big issue for me. I need to figure out how to address. But overall, I think the aircraft losses were sustainable. As far as pilot losses today, we did lose a fair amount. 8 of them were killed in action. It is what it is. We're going to have losses, but overall, out of 21 aircraft losses, only 8 pilots killed is an acceptable rate of loss. Interestingly, let's take a look at the ship sunk, because this is where I think the most exciting stuff is at. So these are all the ships that we managed to sink of his last turn. 13 or so. This is an incredible result, I think, for December 8th. Granted, they're all cargo ships, and a lot of them are 1 and 2 point cargo ships, but I think it's more of a moral victory than anything else that we were able to take out that many ships on December 8th. So no matter what happens, I'm very happy with that result. We lost 2 destroyers. One of them was lost there by surface engagement off of Mersing. This is some leftovers from 4C. The Paul Jones was lost in my failed attempt to stop his surface task force in the Makassar Strait. But considering how many times that task force was engaged and all the damage they took, the fact that we only lost 1 ship outright out of all that, I think is noteworthy. And I'm pretty sure we turned him back. So if we were able to only have to sacrifice 1 outrated, outclassed destroyer to turn that task force away to keep the Makassar Strait open for me to evacuate, I think it's worth it. The rest of the ships that you see sunk here were ships that were fleeing the Philippines. A lot of these are already damaged, like the Otis, the Whippoorwill, Gertrude Kellogg. A lot of these ships here were already damaged leaving the port, and I half expected them to sink on the way out anyway, so it's not a huge loss to me. These 2 here, the Legazpi and the Lepas, they were actually sunk off of Manado by that little sneaky carrier task force that he had operating that I was not really planning on being there. So that's definitely concerning to me, it being there. But these little 1 or 2 point cargo ships aren't overly important to me. The only reason I was pulling them out of the Philippines anyway was just to get them out of there, just to avoid them getting lost needlessly. I'm sure we're going to lose more of these things as we're retreating out of there. It's inevitable, and that's fine. But If anything, they sacrificed themselves so we know that he's got a carrier or two operating down there. So worth it. One last thing I do want to point out that is concerning, or let's make it two things. This ship here, the Lang QS, forgive me, my Dutch pronunciations are not good. That was sunk off of Palembang by a sub. And he's got a lot of subs operating here and here. So I'm going to have to put any available surface combatant ships that are able to do ASW work, I'm going to put them into overdrive because I have to leave Palembang open. I've got stuff I got to bring in. I got stuff I got to pull out of there. And I can't afford to have that interdicted by his subs coming in and out. So I'm probably going to start using a lot more ships for ASW for now down here. And I'm also going to start using a lot of my aircraft that did a number on him over here earlier. I'm going to switch those into ASW patrols because it does appear that the bulk of his ships that were here along the eastern coast of Malaya are falling back towards Indochina over here. So now I got the Dutch subs in place for to catch these guys coming in, and I can use the aircraft that I used to scare off his ships to start dealing with all these subs he's got in this area. I got to keep this area clear so I have time to evacuate my ships and move stuff out of Singapore and out of Palembang. I think that's really it for now. The situation in the Philippines is secure for now. One issue that I did run into was that my attempt to evacuate Manila Harbor has failed. All of these ships that I had sent out did not make it out. They came back because they were just too damaged to make the trip. So we have basically all of these submarines came back into port and they parked themselves on pier side damage control. And I'm not going to be able to really do anything with these. These are just going to get lost in the port at this point. I think they're just too far gone for me to sail them out because they came out of the port and they made a beeline and went right back in. So that's telling me it's just not meant to be. So Lodrik, you win. You get to kill all these subs. One way or the other, you're going to bomb them or you're going to take the port and they're going to sink at the pier. But you win. Good job. My plan failed. A few of these ships are going to go down next turn with the fire level like this. This AO, this AVD. Anything with fire that high is basically destined to sink. So I'll make another attempt to get these two destroyers and this sub out of port, but I just don't think it's going to work. So unfortunately, that's the way it's going to have to be in Manila. Lose a lot of ships there, but you know what? That's okay. We did a number on him. We send him a message that we're not messing around here in the Philippines. And I was really excited with that result. So I'm going to get back to work here. I got to grind out this turn. It's going to take me a couple days. I got to do a little bit more setup and take stock of what's transpired here. But as soon as I'm ready, I'll get that turn back to Lodrik and we'll continue on. As the days continue to progress, I'll need less and less setup time and it'll just be more maintenance. So I really want to thank you guys for watching. This is kind of a long video, I think, between the first part and this, but this is the December 8th recap. Now we're on December 9th, and we're going to keep going. Wish me luck. All right, guys.